Hello there, my name is Lorne Riseley and I'm reporting in for 2-Bit
Gaming. Like, share and subscribe. Go on, you know you wanna.
It's like a warm, snuggly blanket, isn't it? I missed you too. On this edition of the 2-Bit Gaming Riseley Reviews, we're going to take a look at a game that, let's just cut to the chase, is a little bit average. Save Your Nuts, released on the 16th of April 2020. Go nuts in this insane 1 to 8 players chaotic arena party game. Put your cooperation skills to the test over intense physics-based battles, mixing casual offline modes and competitive online matches. Developed and published by Triple Scale Games, and Save Your Nuts, Crafty Squirrels organise a tournament to challenge other animals in a physics-based competition for the ages, making daring plays alongside your teammates. Grab food, power-ups, and tackle your opponents. Steal their nuts in this wild, multiplayer-focused party game. And immediately, 2 words stand out about that description: intense and wild. Now, right off the bat, I will say it's not a bad game. It's not an ill-designed game. In fact, some of the concepts and ideas that it pushes are actually kind of nice. I like the cartoony designs. I like the maps. I like the overall art style. I like the animations. I like the sound design. I like the variety in the maps. I like the variety in the characters. I even like the variety in the different modes. The biggest problem I have with this game, though, is that it's not intense in the slightest, and mild is probably closer to the nub. The problem is that it's the classic case of any developer that has a novel idea or a robust concept, as it were, but then doesn't fully commit to it in the wildest sense. When your standpoint is that it's crazy and wild and out of control and anything can happen, then you really do need to live up to that. But with a game like Save Your Nuts, what connotation do you read when you hear the title Save Your Nuts? Do you think, well, I wonder if he's referring to some sort of cosmological event? No, you think nutsack. That's what you think. You think there's going to be some dirty humor in there. You think there's going to be some kind of rambunctious scallion characters, and you think there's going to be this over-the-top nature of it. When really, this game is just a fine game of games. It's a multi-party game where you can play online, you can play with your friends. It's got 3 different modes, multiple different maps, multiple different characters, more that you unlock as you go, and you unlock the maps as you progress through the various challenges. And again, the modes are fine. The capture the nut mode, where nuts will drop over portions of different maps that are designed for different levels of players. You can play with more characters than the map prescribes. I wouldn't necessarily have recommended the developer leave that in. I guess that they wanted to be able to complete the variety without compromising the gameplay by saying, hey, we wouldn't recommend it. Maybe just don't let the maps become a mad scramble, because some of the maps are better than others. There's no way of putting that. The main map, for instance, the backyard map, I think it's called, is fun. It's cool. The later maps, though, while they have some degree of ingenuity to them, and they're certainly not poorly designed, there's a couple of glitchy areas, no doubt, especially on the pirate map. Glitchy as all hell, which, by the way, is not only a little bit derivative, but also lacks, again, in imagination. The only thing that you can really do is fire cannons, and that's about it. The ships don't move or bow. There's nothing, and I guess that's probably my main complaint with this game, is that the characteristics and the mechanics of this game don't lend themselves well to over-the-top gameplay. The characters, for instance, you have, I think, 7 or 8 different character models that you can utilize. You can customize them to a certain degree. You can unlock different accessories for them, and they have different abilities, or so the game says. I can't really derive much of a significant difference from the characters. For instance, there's a tank character and there's a squirrel character. Now, when I've got a nut, surely it's only fair that if I'm sacrificing overall attacking ability and prowess and strength and defense, which is what the tank possesses, that I get a speed up. FIFA players will understand this when Per Mertesacker catches up to any player with a speed over 36. It's immensely frustrating to see him keep pace with you when his sacrifice is his strength. He gets a strength boost, whereas you don't, but the upside is that you can outpace him. In this game, suffers from the same thing. If you have a nut, good luck getting away from anybody. And then you can counter with saying, well, the passing mechanics are in the game for that precise reason. Yes, but the passing mechanics are not accurate. You press a button and it lobs the nut in any general direction, and you kind of just gotta hope that one of your teammates are in that general area. unfocused, I would call the passing mechanics in this game. There's jumping mechanics and there are power-ups. Like I said, there's donuts, there's coffee, there's a hot dog that gives you a shield. There's also attack components, which for my money take too long. You press and hold the Y button and it unlocks maybe a bomb or a jetpack, which is next to useless. I don't understand why the jetpack is in this game other than just to say we got jetpacks. They serve no real function apart from maybe getting away in the battle mode, which is effectively just woodland critters beating the piss out of each other, which can be fun, but again, the tanks have the distinct advantage in this mode, especially when the only tactic in that mode is to get a donut, which is a strength increase, and then just smash everything. It also has this, again, this sort of interlude story, which kind of explains why we're here, that doesn't feed into anything. It just sort of, it's a random, oh yeah, there's a tournament and the animals are fighting reasons. Now get on with it. Include a story mode then, or at least include some kind of narrative character epilogue screen at the end when you win with a certain character. You unlock characters as you go, so the game can clearly recognize your progress. So why not have the game recognize that you progress to a certain point and award you with some story and some exposition? I like that when games do that. But we come to probably my biggest sticking point, the price. It's £11.39. Now, while I'm not saying again that this is a fundamentally broken game or a fundamentally poor game, in terms of a multiplayer experience, £11.39 seems a little steep when Rocket League exists and when Fortnite exists. In this kind of market, when you're offering a multiplayer experience that again is a little bit derivative, but has the basis of what could be a good idea, which games like this exist, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it has to be AAA, I'm not saying it has to be played by absolutely everyone to be worth playing. What I am saying is that you have to strike out with a degree of your own identity. And this game doesn't. It doesn't take enough risks. In fact, it's reminiscent to me of an old Rayman multiplayer game. I forget the name off the top of my head right now, but I just remember playing it thinking, it's reasonably fun, it's reasonably well put together, but there's nothing characterful about it, there's nothing impactful, there's nothing unique about it that sets it apart from another multiplayer game with the exact same mechanics. And that's why I think that this game ultimately disappoints, and for that price point I certainly wouldn't recommend it as an online multiplayer game or indeed a party game of any description. I think it's too expensive to be worth considering for that price point. But would I recommend you check it out? Yeah, because I think ultimately this is the kind of game that would be aimed at really young kids. I don't think this is a game for adults ultimately. I think that the title invokes that, but at the same time maybe you could argue that the title is kind of a weak PG style joke that John Cena would approve of. But at the same time, it's a game that I can see kids getting to grips with. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, the controls are simplistic enough, there's enough repetition for the kids to get into it, there's plenty of content for them to get their grips into, there's accessories and a certain degree of unlockables with the maps and with different characters, and again, it's not the worst game in the world. Again, once you get into the ebb and flow of the game, it can be fun. It's just repetitive as all hell and just unimaginative, and I've said that a million times in this review because it's the one thing I kept on coming back to when I was reviewing it and when I was playing it, is that it's just overall lacking in imagination. So what do you think? If I'm going to give it a rating, I'm going to give it a lot on the lower end because it has to suffer points for that, but it doesn't suffer from the perspective of that it's badly put together. If this is their first attempt, then it's a reasonably good first attempt that just, you need to crank up the character with it, go nuts with the next one, add minds, add more characters, have the characters actually have exclamations of their own, styles of the character models, have the different teams have distinctions, have the teams have different abilities, one's faster, one's slower, one's stronger, one's weaker, one has different abilities like the dig mechanic, like passing of the ball, are they more agile, are they able to get more power-ups, are they able to sustain the power-ups for longer? All of these different mechanics could add to the depth of the gameplay and make it even more replayable, and ultimately would bump the score up. But as it stands, it's a standard 5 out of 10 game, and I wouldn't recommend it at its current price point. Wait for a reduction or a sale, and then again, let your kids go crazy with it, and I think they'll have some fun. But what do you think? Save your nuts. Have you played it? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching this edition of Riseley Reviews. I've been your host Lorne Riseley, reporting for Two Beard Gaming. Please like, share and subscribe. Check out the other content creators that have been producing good content on this channel in my absence. It's good to be back, and I'll see you next week.